Welcome to beautiful Barcelona. We're here at Integrated Systems Europe.
And ISE is celebrating its 20th birthday this year, so we're thrilled to bring you AVIXA TV live from the show floor.
Absolutely. The excitement is palpable. We're just so excited for this show to start. They're putting on the finishing touches as we speak.
So, let's get the show started.
Let's go ahead and do it. Welcome to AVIXA TV live from ISE. We are so excited to be here in Barcelona. I am your host, Samantha Powell.
And my name is Ben Barnard, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here to welcome you, as Sam says, to the first ever episode live from ISE. Sam, we're sitting here with the finishing touches of the show being added all around us. How are you feeling? Are you ready for ISE 2024?
I am so excited. It is my very first ISE, and when everybody said the show is so massive, I feel like that is a complete understatement. I have been walking for miles, and just looking at all of these booths coming together, it's just so magical. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit of a veteran of the show. I've been a few times before, but still, every year it feels like so much has happened since the last time. There's so much to talk about, there's so much to catch up on. So, yeah, really excited. And speaking of which, I guess we should get to introducing our first guest.
Absolutely. So we are thrilled to kick off our very first show here at ISE with a remarkable artist whose creations have been showcased around the world. And if you had the opportunity to be in Barcelona over the weekend, hopefully you had the chance to see her artwork projected on the Casa Batlló. So without any further delay, let's go ahead and introduce you to the talented Sofia Crespo. Sofia, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So for those who didn't have a chance to view your wonderful artwork on the Casa Batlló, can you tell our audience a little bit about what that was?
Yeah, sure. So the piece was titled Structures of Being. It was screened for 2 days. It was a projection mapping on the facade of Casa Batlló. And the whole piece was centered around Gaudi's development as an artist and the inspirations that he had, particularly the inspirations that he poured onto Casa Batlló, not just on the outside, but also on the inside of the house.
Fantastic. And can you tell us something a little bit about Gaudi, something people might not know, and maybe something about his work that has inspired you?
Yeah, so when I traveled to Barcelona for my research for this work, I had a lot of visits lined up to his various properties, and I remember going from Casa Batlló directly to Casa Vicens, which is his very first building project. And the contrast is just immense. And I think it's important to note that we know one part of Gaudi's body of work, and that's his more mature body of work. But as every artist, you undergo an evolution of your style. You perfect your craft throughout time, and that was deeply inspiring for me to see. So this house looks very different to his other projects that we know him for.
No, absolutely. And it seems like there's just so many different types of inspirational artwork and projects that happen here. There's so many immersive experiences. Why do you think so many of those type of projects happen here in Barcelona?
Barcelona has historically had been the perfect substrate for accepting these new ideas, or very receptive to new, challenging cultural and technological ideas. So I think that's the reason why these kind of projects are happening, and they don't happen just anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a bit about AI, because I know you include AI in your artwork. So how has it allowed your work to evolve as you started including AI in your work?
So for me, with AI, it started out of curiosity. The way that I think of AI is purely as a tool. So I think of it as a painter would think of a paintbrush, And it has allowed me to extract patterns, so like visual patterns, sound patterns that afterwards I can manipulate. And that's kind of the way that I think of it. You know, it's important to note that there are many different types of AI out there. There isn't just one.
Mm-hmm. And so how would you say the use of AI in your projects, how has it, you know, enhanced your projects and made them better? And has it been advantageous to use this type of technology when you're creating your pieces?
On some things, yes, but also this has made it extremely challenging at times, because it's important to note that I'm not a machine learning engineer myself. I very much wanted to go to university for computer science at a point, but I ended up eventually deciding to become a full-time artist.
Absolutely. And speaking of challenges, I understand it's your first time doing projection mapping, right? So
yes,
projecting
that's
onto
correct.
something that isn't just a flat surface, or so. I mean, how did that go? Can you talk us through the challenges there and like how you kind of navigated that journey?
Yeah, I'm extremely grateful that Casa Batlló even agreed to have me here, because this is my first projection mapping, and also it's not the easiest surface to map. You know, the trencadís, which is all these ceramic tiles that cover the facade, they make the light, they reflect the light back. So that's an additional challenge to the mapping. All these different textures, you have stone, you have glass, and it's extremely intricate. It's really a three-dimensional surface.
It was just amazing being there with all of the people who were standing outside in the street and them blocking off traffic. And I'm just looking at this building. I'm like, how in the world is all of these, you know, these images and, you know, life forms just effortlessly flowing on this building? So for your first time, I think you've done a wonderful job, and I think they may ask you back I would like to ask you back every year. So yes, we had that wonderful projection mapping piece here in Barcelona for ISE, but I know you've done other pieces around the world. Can you share with us some of the other creative pieces that you've done?
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes I make works where I question the limitations of AI. So for example, I have this work titled Critically Extant, which was exhibited in Times Square on 96 screens at the same time. And the whole work is about showing how we have a biased view of certain creatures, you know, how, for example, a red panda doesn't get the same kind of treatment as a lichen, or the other way around. Sorry, a lichen doesn't get the same treatment as the red panda, because we want to share pandas, we don't want to share lichens as much. So, yeah.
Fantastic. So, when obviously while you're here in Barcelona, you've got your fantastic projection composition that's referencing Gaudí, and you've got all the various things there. So when you're doing something in Times Square, for example, is there also kind of you trying to tie in the project to where it's being projected, or is that just unique to this project here in Barcelona?
That is unique to this project. Most of the time I think of a piece and then I think about how I want to communicate that idea, but in this case it was the other way around. I knew I had to work with all the strengths and limitations of that facade and that format.
Absolutely. And I'm very nosy, but I just want to know, what are you working on now? What can we see next from you?
Well, right now I am taking a holiday after.
You deserve it. It definitely looked like it was a lot of work, so yes.
But we do have a project lined up here in Barcelona for this year through my artist duo, which is with Felic and McCormick, my partner. And I'm very much looking forward to sharing that.
We're excited
Absolutely.
to see it.
Yeah, fantastic. Where can people go to find out more about sort of what you're working on? You have social media, website, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I'm most active on Instagram. So my personal account is Sofia Crespo, and my artist duo account is Entangled Others.
Fantastic.
Excellent. Well, I mean, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here. Are you going to be sticking around for a few days for the show? You're going to be exploring ISE a little bit?
Yes, I'm actually giving a keynote here.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
I'm looking forward to sharing the behind the scenes and how we actually solved all these technical challenges that we run through while developing this project.
Yeah,
We'll definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as I say, thank you so much for joining us. And for those who've missed the projection on the Casa Batlló, they can view your piece, which is called Structures of Being, at the ISE Creative Cube, which is actually just behind the stage here. Is that correct? That's showing the whole week?
Yeah, exactly. Hope people go to see it because it's shown here.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's wonderful, and thank you so much again for being our first guest as well on the first ever episode. You did a fantastic job, so thank you so much indeed for joining us. So next we're going to speak to Nicky and Juan from the annual Bikefest event. They're the driving force behind that event, and Bikefest raises money for the We Make Events, which has been instrumental in supporting the live events industry. That's helping people who've been affected in the live events industry about the things that happened with the pandemic and all that kind of thing. But before we speak to Nicky and Juan, we're going to have a look back at some of the highlights from this year's ride. So let's have a look at the video.
Let's take a look.
How are you?
Hello!
Bikefest 24, here we go.
Here we go, once more onto the breach. We must be mad.
We've had a fantastic 3 days. Ups and downs, hills and climbs and descents around the mountains and coastlines of Valencia to Barcelona. 390 kilometers of challenging terrain. And we've done it as a group, which is really sort of, I think, a metaphor for our industry. We've done so much together. We've gotten this far through a pandemic. So that's what really We Make Events is all about. It's a charity that is benefiting those backstage folks and live events folks that have been really affected by the pandemic, still continue to be affected by the pandemic, and so they may just need a little help and help their families. And so we've been riding all the way up the coastline to ISE celebrate its 20 years so that those folks can have a little bit of help in the next couple years. And we've gone such a distance to help those folks by raising funds all along the way.
Okay, so we're nearing the end of the ride. Peppa Pig has been with us all the time from the moment we left Valencia. It's just a moment to think about the children, all the kids, the freelancers, and the events people that are struggling. Let's not forget the children. They do notice when the families are broken. So let's spare a thought for Peppa Pig, Daddy Pig, Mama Pig, and little George. And let's say a few dollars and a few more hellos for all the children that are watching today. Thank you very much.
Anyone that's looking for a great challenge, they want to test themselves mentally and physically and help a good cause, help some people in the live events community, this is definitely the event for them. Vamos!
Wow, Nicky and Juan, thank you so much for joining us. So there it is, the highlights from Bikefest. How are you both doing?
We're good. A little tired, I think.
Yeah.
but good.
Juan, I see you've got your medal on there as well. It's,
I deserve it.
Yes,
I deserve it, yes. That's the reason I bring.
Absolutely. So let's get straight into the question. I'm sure people are dying to know, if they don't already, what is Bikefest and how did it start?
Yeah, no, good question. So Bikefest is a group of cyclists from the live events industry that come together to ride for charity, to raise money, and also to connect up, I think, and share values, and which is really does happen. It's really interesting how they form during the whole process of it. So it hits things on a number of levels, really. But it started back in around 2018. It was a ride to the Plaza show to do exactly the same, to raise funds for charity, and so that ride still happens in London every year, in usually the beginning of September, and then we had the pandemic, and of course this Plaza we started We Make Events, and it was a very dark time for a lot of people in live events at that, there was no work, and I think We Make Events was a way for people to come together, and to that whole thing again about working for a common cause, allowing people to be part of something. And through that process, I met Juan, because we had the European side of it, and he said to me about, well, why not do one? Let's do one, and let's do it in Spain. And I said, yeah,
And
why
there
not?
is no better excuse because I live in Valencia, which is, if you don't visit, still, I really fully recommend because it's the most lovely place in Spain.
I've
But I
been
have to say,
Valencia.
right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely fantastic. I've been there before, and it's just wonderful, wonderful city.
And it was also a good excuse to start this project, right in because all the conditions are affordable to make this ride. The weather, we studied the last 10 years of weather during this ride. In the last 10 years, the average, the probability was 90% of sunshine and good weather. We still have 10% of probabilities of bad weather, and it actually happened last week. But we are still, in 3 years in a row, we still are lucky. And yeah, I think everybody's enjoying.
That is
Fantastic.
so great. Yeah, I know we have one of our colleagues, as you saw in the video, do that. And I have to ask, as a non-biker and non-athletic person whatsoever, I have no concept of how long that journey must have been from Valencia to Barcelona. So can you share with me and our audience that are watching and listening, can you tell me about that journey? How long does it take to get from Valencia to Barcelona, and who all is part of your pack riding along?
Well, it's a ride of it's a journey of three stages, so 3 days, and the target during the journey is to enjoy the journey, not to race, not to do a high pace or whatever. So it's enjoying the relationships you build during the journey, because sharing these 3 days, you build a kind of totally different relationship more than the professional one. So the best thing of this, the best thing I ever heard about the Bikefest is when a rider that comes for the first time arrives to the end and say, I'm going to join the next year.
And I understand your father, was also joining you.
Yeah, my father has 73 years.
Wow.
So it looks like if it's hard for a person of his age to do it. And I was looking carefully about him the first year, not this year because I know how he'll behave, but the first year I was looking carefully how he's feeling, and he enjoyed it so much. And this is because also he's coming with an e-bike.
Yeah.
And this is important that we welcome e-bikes. If you want to come with a e-bike, you are very welcome. I mean, the important is to enjoy these 5-6 hours of every day.
Yeah.
Also to our stops, we share a lot of experience during the ride. As I said, this experience built a totally different relationship, also between my father and me.
So if there's anybody out there sort of thinking that they can get out of participating in this just because of their age and they think they're too old, that's no excuse, right?
No.
And there's no excuse there. Okay, we'll make sure we make a note of that when we advertise it. You've had great success with this Bikefest. It's been getting stronger and stronger. What can we learn in terms of with the right effort and the right approach to something, the kind of success we can have there?
I think it's about having a common goal, actually, working towards something together. That's really important. And then working as a team. Something we were talking about earlier was about egos, wasn't it? There's no one person that stands out as the person. Although we're here, it's kind of like representing everyone that made that effort. We wouldn't be here if they hadn't made that effort. And I think that in today it's really important, to think about that when we're working on things, to actually share that and respect everybody's diversity in that way.
Yeah, this is a We Make Events project. We have big names of the industry inside the We Make Events, people that maybe are not as popular are they, but every hand, it counts in the project of helping the industry and helping the ones that are in the backstage and they cannot afford. That's the reason we also cooperate with Backup, the charity foundation that are behind also the project, the Rise funds that we are doing. No, so I want to say that if somebody is still thinking to donate for raising funds for this project, go to joinbikefest.com and there is a donation button and they can donate any amount from €1 to whatever they
It's
want.
not too late.
It's never too late. So I'm glad that you brought that up regarding the donations. And so yes, we did talk about it. It's a wonderful way to see the world and build that camaraderie. But at its core, we're really trying to build some fund and fundraise for your charity, Backup Tech. And so can you tell me a little bit about that organization and what is the funds? What is that going to?
Yeah, so we actually had the chair of Backup Tech. He actually came onto the ride as well. So, and so it's a charity that's been set up to look after the well-being and also to give financial support to people that work in the technical side, if you like, of the entertainment technology world. So that's what it's there to do. When Piers was there with us, because he was on the ride, we were speaking about that and asked him to sort of present certain examples, and he was actually saying that two people a week, 2 or 3 people a week are in contacting them and using their 24-hour helpline for support, and so it's a real problem in our industry, and it's something that we need to have that support for people where they can get proper help, and they're also involved, along with other charities too, music support, in terms of training people to become mental health first aiders. So the money is going to a really, really good cause. Not only that, if you go to their website, you will see that there are sort of case studies that are on there in terms of the support people have if they've fallen on hard times. It's very difficult if you are somebody who's a freelancer, you don't actually have that support behind you, or for health reasons if you need medical help and support. So it's all there on their website. So have a look.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this information. And so can you repeat once again, where can people go to donate?
To donate, you can go to the website joinbikefest.com, www.joinbikefest.com, and then you will find out.
Fantastic.
Excellent. And if people can't donate, then at least if they share the page, they might reach somebody who can
Absolutely.
donate. Right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving us
Thank you for having us.
visibility.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you so
And
much.
I encourage everyone watching, if you're able to do something, just check out the website and see what they have going on there. So thanks again, Nicky and Juan. And once again, this year at ISE, we have some amazing tech tours that invites our attendees to some exclusive behind-the-scenes AV experiences. So AVIXA's very own Mark Metzger had the opportunity to speak with Jordi Sayas about a fascinating Egyptian mapping. It's a wonderful project. I hope you're going to check this out. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Tutankhamun, an immersive experience.
Every year, ISE puts together an outstanding slate of tech tours, an opportunity to get out around Barcelona and see cutting-edge AV technology in person. And today we're really excited to be featuring one of those exhibits. It's called Tutankhamun, the immersive experience at Ideal Barcelona. And it was produced by Layers of Reality. Today we're fortunate enough to be speaking with Jordi Sayas, the CEO of Layers of Reality. Jordi, how are you?
Really well, thank you very much.
Thanks so much for taking the time to chat with us. This was a tech tour that caught my eye when I looked through the list initially. Tell me, where did the inspiration come from to do an exhibit on ancient Egypt?
Yeah, we created this digital art center to connect digital arts, technology with a biggest part of the society that are not usually connected to that. You can go to an electronic music festival and you can find mainly young people or people interested in digital, in arts and technology, but we wanted to go forward. We wanted to connect with, I don't know, my mom or my kids or like everyone. What we want is to make technology disappear in a way that the story and the narrative that we create is so strong that people forget about wearing glasses or being inside a room that's an immersive room with 27 projectors connected, synchronized at the same time, or using artificial intelligence tools. We start with an exhibition room, like physical room with ancient Egypt, objects. Then you go to our big immersive room. It's just 1,000 square meters of screens projected, synchronized, of a 28 minutes movie, absolutely spectacular. Then you go to a room that we use virtual reality to create a special walk inside the metaverse. So you walk It's a free roaming virtual reality. And at the same time, we mix every room with artificial intelligence photo booth or other stuff that's really interesting, and mixing, this ancient Egypt world with the technology that we have today.
What kind of feedback have you received so far from the exhibit? Has it been positively received?
Yes, our Tutankhamun exhibition is really one of our biggest shows. We created that in MAD, in the Madrid Digital Arts Center. So it's been in Madrid for a whole year, 300,000 visitors there for the whole season. We opened Barcelona in September, and we already have more than 100,000 visitors here in our Digital Arts Center. But this exhibition is already open in Hamburg, in Vienna, in Stuttgart. It will be opening Sao Paulo in January. So it's a really global show.
Well, Jordi, this is, like I said, one of the tech tours that we are definitely most looking forward to seeing when we're in Barcelona. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk us through it today, and looking forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, pleasure, and waiting for you here at Ideal Barcelona during the ISE.
See, I told you that was a really cool exhibit. So that is definitely one that's on my bucket list. So if I have some time in between what I've got to do here, I think we should go check it out.
Definitely.
Wonderful. So now we have the pleasure of talking to Miquel with Catalan Audiovisual Cluster. So thank you so much for joining us here at AVIXA TV.
Thanks.
So I am very much an AV newbie. I'm not ashamed to say it. So I want you just to give me the basics, the rundown. What is the AV Cluster of Catalonia?
Yes, first of all, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. This is the main association of the Catalan AV industry. There are different players from all the audiovisual value chain, and they represent audiovisual services companies, production companies. We have software solution companies, manufacturing equipment companies, infrastructures, universities. So it's very rich, and we work for all the different AV segments of the AV industry, filming industry, advertising, communication, health, education, using all type of technologies, VR, video games, whatever. So it's a kind of quite complex matrix of activities and segments and a type of companies. And at the end, there are almost 200 companies, institutions. In this association, probably we are the biggest association in Europe in terms of audiovisual industry.
And what are the main aims of the AV Cluster of Catalonia?
Yeah, we have many different aims. First of all, we want to put Barcelona on the global map, in terms of audiovisual industry. And we also want to make this local industry stronger. Especially we are talking about wealth, we are talking about being able to have bigger companies and more companies, so that we become a really important part of the international and global audiovisual industry. We also want to influence regulations, we want to influence the type of infrastructures that are put in by the different governments. We also have the aim of developing talent, and I'm talking about local talent, but I'm also talking about attracting international talent to Barcelona. This is very typical from our city. We want to attract many people to our amazing city. People love living here. But we also want to have them here because they find the right job, the job they love, and we think that we can also do it. We have many also aims in terms of trying to educate and train our companies, our professionals about the new technological advances. We are convinced that technology is what is permitting the development of this industry, and all of our growth is based and relies on new technological advances.
Absolutely. And how do you measure the success of those aims? How's it going so far in terms of where you are with those goals and where you want to be in 5 years' time?
Where we want to go in 5 years' time, yeah. In fact, our idea is every year you have to take into account that new technological advancements make it very easy to have an economic growth. So our idea is to grow by more than 10-15% every year, and it's happening. Every year we take advantage of this trade show in order to publish new data about our industry. And every year we're showing a new growth. And our idea is to have a big growth in more or less 10-15% per year.
Absolutely. And yes, you were talking about all the new technology and how it's dependent on that. And obviously here at ISE, that's what we're seeing all day, every day here, is just new types of technology popping up. So can you speak a little bit more on, how ISE is helping get those aims across?
Yeah, ISE is very, very important to us. First of all, it's the best brand campaign for us. Because, as I said before, one of our main aims is to put Barcelona on the global map. And ISE is helping us, because it's everywhere in the news. So it's important. And all the people that work for the industry are here, and they associate Barcelona and AV industry. So it helps in doing this. There's another aim I didn't mention before, which is internationalization. We want the local companies to be able to work in international projects, to partner with the best companies of the world. And I think this is to be here and to visit this trade show that is in our city is a very easy way to do it. And finally, I have to say that, as I said before, technology is what is boosting the growth in our industry. And we have here all the technological advances that one can find in the world, in a single place for 4 days with the best international players. So it's so easy to grow with such a partner.
Absolutely, and you said that having such advancements in technologically make it really easy to have that kind of growth economy and that kind of idea. What do you then have in mind when it comes to the new jobs that will arise when it comes to sort of virtual production? Have you been looking at that as well?
Yeah, virtual production is a very important technology, because most of the incumbent players come from the broadcast industry. And virtual production has to do with LED screen and video game engines. So it's like fresh air coming from another part of the AV industry. So it's very important to us. We're organizing a session specifically about this issue tomorrow, in which Antoine Vaxelaire is going to explain us the impact on jobs, okay? And I've spoken many times to him. He's the manager of Platono. Platono is included in the tech tools, so all the attendees of ISE have the chance to go there. And he always tells me, no job is going to disappear. The only thing you have to take into account is people have to adapt to these new technologies. They have to learn how to deal with new equipment. And on the contrary, new jobs will arise. We will have, Unreal Engine operators. We will have also virtual production people that will have to learn new skills, because the way we produce content in such a stage is so different. DOPs, DOPs have to learn how to light a virtual production set because it's a different way to do it. You use LED panels, and if they want to avoid the typical visual effects that you get, the undesired visual effect that you get when you don't do it the right way, they have to to learn about it. So it's a matter of learning. It's a matter of training people. It's a matter of motivating people. And it happens the same with all the different technological advances. The good thing we have in our industry is the fact that the more technological advancements we have, the more opportunities we have for all the people that are working for the industry. The only thing we have to do is to change the way we work and to find the right opportunity that the future is showing to us.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. No, that's great. Well, thank you so much for joining us. If people want to know a bit more about the AV Cluster of Catalonia, where can they find that information?
Yes, we have a website.
Yeah. What's the website?
Yeah. Just Google Catalan AV Cluster and you'll find it.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much indeed. Thanks again for joining us, Miquel from the Catalan AV Cluster. So, Sam, we know that Barcelona is currently alive with the buzz of ISE and all things AV, but we also know it boasts some amazing restaurants, and we went out last night to discover one in particular. Shall we have a look and see how we got on?
I think it's time to do that.
Let's do it. So we're here at the wonderful Taverna del Bisbe in the shadow of the Cathedral of Barcelona, and I'm here with Sam. Sam, I know you love to visit restaurants and stuff like that, so what are you looking forward to trying whilst you're here in Barcelona?
Oh my goodness, I'm ready for tapas. So give me octopus, give me paella, and I'm really looking forward to trying some good beer.
Excellent, yeah, I mean, I'm sure we can find something. So should we go in and try some stuff?
Let's absolutely do that.
Let's do it. Sam, you've had your starters. What have you enjoyed so far?
Everything has been delicious and all the seafood is so fresh. What about you?
I have to say the Padron peppers, absolutely fantastic.
Are they spicy?
No, not spicy at all. Although there was also a Russian salad which had a sort of like a pickled chili. I sort of shared it around the table. That was a little bit spicy, not for the faint of heart. Should we get some paella?
Absolutely. So we've got some amazing paella in front of us. I cannot wait to dig in. I think we've got a vegetable one here and one with all the seafood. So I know which one I'm going for, which will be all seafood. Which one do you think which one are you excited about?
Well, if you want to get your hands on the seafood one, I'll go for the vegetable one. It looks pretty good. I mean, traditionally, of course, you don't want to eat paella at dinner time. You want to eat it at lunchtime because it makes you sleepy. But, we're not trying to pretend we're not tourists, right? We're here, we're tourists, we're going to eat the whole thing, and it looks delicious. So, Sam, what did you think of dinner?
Oh my gosh, you picked a wonderful place. The food was magnificent. Like, the atmosphere in there, it was just so special. Like, this is what Barcelona is all about.
Absolutely. So, if you're looking for a good restaurant in Barcelona, Taverna del Bisbe, come on down and we'll see you at the show. That was an incredible meal, right?
It was so good. I am still a bit stuffed, but we had all of the right things. Thank you so much for taking me there, and we had such a good time. It was a great way to start the week with our colleagues and some good food in a gorgeous city.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And eagle-eyed viewers will have seen that we weren't alone. We were there with many of our colleagues who've flown in from all around the world to support us here at the ISE show. And speaking of which, our next guests are Pam Taggart and Annette Sandler from AVIXA. Welcome to the show.
Very excited to be here.
So we're here just in the shadow of the AVIXA Exchange Live booth. So Annette, can you give us a brief description of what Exchange Live is and what we're going to be able to see during the show here?
Yeah, so Exchange Live is the in-person activation for AVIXA's Exchange community. We have 4 days of interactive sessions that are going to cover everything from AI to sustainability to AV IT convergence.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. And yes, the stage is amazing. Hopefully more of you will get the opportunity to come either to InfoComm or ISE and check it out if you haven't had the opportunity. But can you share a little bit of how does the Exchange Live contribute to the AV industry?
So I think that Exchange Live, one of the most important things that we have here is the network, where people can meet each other in person. You can find different groups within the AV industry that are... Is my mic out?
It may be out. So
I can take
here
it
we
from
go.
there, which no problem. That's a fast switch.
Fantastic.
Live shows are all about. Let's go. Sorry. So if you could start that all over again so our audience could hear you.
I can. So I think what's especially important about Exchange Live is the networking. And we have meetups throughout the week for everyone from AV marketers to all women in AV to the education technology managers, and also the AVIXA member meetup is going to be taking place at Exchange Live. So it's where a lot of different groups within the AV industry can come together.
Fantastic. And obviously, the Exchange Live program has evolved over the years. How has it evolved so far, and what are some kind of notable achievements that you'd like to share this year?
So I can speak to that a little bit. So it's kind of morphed into a really good complement for everything else that's happening at ISE. So whereas before we might have had more focus on specific groups or councils coming from AVIXA, now it really ties into the entire program. So if there's key themes that we're discussing online, like AI, sustainability, workforce development, all of those come into play, not in just the conferences, but in more intimate discussions and meetups that take place on Exchange. So it just ties everything together really nicely.
Fantastic. And so it's just been great just to see the evolution of Exchange Live. So do you have any upcoming developments or plans that you guys are working on that our attendees should be excited about for the future?
So I think this week we'll be talking a lot about AI. On Tuesday we have a session covering who owns the content that AI creates. That's something a lot of people want to know more about. On Wednesday we'll also be talking about the potential for bias in AI. And then another session on Wednesday is going to cover sustainability. How do we make pro AV more sustainable? We're going to look at lifecycle management and responsible sourcing and upcycling to make AV more sustainable overall.
It's great information.
Yeah, that's great as well. And I think straight after that panel, we're actually going to have the people from that panel over here to talk to us a bit about how it went, so get some feedback on it, share some, maybe expand on some ideas, which I think it's great. That's how the sort of AVIXA TV and Exchange Live can really kind of complement each other. For those who aren't able to attend ISE, how can they experience the sort of the connections, the dialogue, and the thought leadership that takes place at the Exchange Live experience?
So we're doing the live stream program on avixa.tv, and then if you want to join the Exchange community online, you go to exchange.avixa.org. That's where we have a lot of these conversations that are taking place virtually that are replicating what we're doing here in person.
Fantastic.
Cool. Now, are there any, any sessions, or I just want to know, what are you guys most excited and are looking forward to while you're here? You can each share something you're looking forward to. That'd be great.
Well, if we widen it to all of the education program that AVIXA is participating in, there's 8 conferences this year, 7 of which are produced by AVIXA on behalf of ISE. So there's quite a bit going on. I won't name all of those. Check the app. They're starting to sell out, so I would say if you're coming on site, go fast. You can register on site if there are spaces available. There's going to be some great things around cybersecurity. So we've talked about AI, we've talked about sustainability. You'll find that in every single track that we have at ISE this year. But cybersecurity, we have a superstar that is just amazing. Sean Reardon is going to speak in the Smart Workplace track, and he's formerly with Scotland Yard and their high-tech crimes unit. Worked in cybersecurity, and he's just a delight to listen to and a lot of really great stories. So if that's a concern or an interest for you, I would definitely make sure you catch him. There's a lot of free sessions as well this year. So Tech Talks goes every single day, Spanish and English. There's sessions from Microsoft on real use cases for AI, so not pie in the sky. What are we doing right now? What can you do? Also on digital humans, so the hyper-realistic avatars and what that's going to do to entertainment and business. And then Friday, we have something special where we're doing a workforce development day, and that's going to carry from this stage all the way to the hall stage in Hall 4 with Tech Talks to focus on how do you get the new folks into the industry up and running. So I couldn't pick one, sorry. I took the time and said all of them.
Should have been writing all those down. We'll have to chat
I
after.
mean, luckily people can watch this again on AVIXA TV, right?
Absolutely.
They can go back and rewatch, so they can make notes of all of those things. You kind of touched on this already and sort of answered this question already, but were there any kind of particular goals and themes that when you set out to recruit the speakers for this year's show?
Absolutely, and so we've touched on some, so AI was definitely top of mind, sustainability as well, workforce development and cybersecurity, and you'll see sessions, like I said, in just about every conference on those because they are so important. But beyond just what we're doing in the conference sessions, some of those deserve some attention on the show floor as well. And I think one of your previous guests talked about content production, distribution. So that's another theme, that's a convergence that we're seeing that we wanted to make sure you could explore not just in sessions, but actually on the show floor as well. So new this year are show floor tours. So they're done by theme, led by an expert on that topic to take you around to some of the most changing or innovative or new development technologies for that area. So we have content production streaming, ed tech, a couple in German for audio. Fantastic. So there's a good variety that people should really check this out.
It's wonderful.
There's so much here and so little time to do everything. I want to go to everything that you had just mentioned. Do you have any tips or tricks to an attendee? Like, how can they see everything that they want to see, you know, within this week?
So I don't think ISE is a show you can just show up to anymore. To make the best use of your time, you really do need to download the app in advance, get your diary together, preview what's happening each day, and make sure you've got those captured in your diary. There's just a lot going, and you're going to miss something great otherwise. Would you add anything?
I would say if you have the time, go on a show floor tour. It's a great introduction, also helps to orient you around this massive space and all the halls that we have here at the FIRA. And the other thing is to make sure that you drop into some of the content conversations. Pam mentioned the Tech Talk stage in English and Spanish. It gives you context for what you're seeing in the booths, and it also helps to strike up some conversations with other people that are interested in some of the same things. So the more people you can meet, the more people you can talk to about the kind of projects you're working on, that's going to make the best use of your time here at ISE.
Absolutely, and I think certainly as well doing the tour of the show floor is really important because you can walk straight into this conference center. Straight away, you're going to see something amazing. You're going to be there for 10 minutes. Then you'll take another step and see another thing that's amazing. And there's no way you're going to cover it. If you've got someone kind of dragging you along, and sort of making sure that, okay, you can come back to that later, but come and move along. That's a really good idea. And obviously all the conferences and all those programs too. So it's so exciting.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both so much for sitting with us and giving us all this good advice and the sessions that we need to check out. So we really, really appreciate it, and we're excited for this wonderful show to start.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys. Awesome. Well, I think we had a bunch of good guests today.
Absolutely.
Well, let's take a look at what we've got coming up tomorrow. So, on tomorrow's show, we've got Alberto Sierri and Samuel Rancine from Matrox to learn about some of the latest AV trends. Then we'll be chatting with Stefan Nuttall about America's Cup, which is one of the largest sporting events in Catalonia and Spain. And finally, we'll wrap up our show with a virtual production panel to talk about how that technology is changing the AV industry. So, can't wait. It's been fantastic working with you today, Ben. We get to do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, and the next day, and the next
and the next day, and the next, and then we'll be so sad that it's over. But
yeah, and it's going to go by so quickly. I know it is. So tomorrow is the official opening of the show. It's the first day of the show. There's going to be a completely different energy around here as well, I guess. It's going to be people passing by, and it's going to be, it's going to be exciting.
It's going to be wonderful, yes, and you won't hear all the hammers and drills and everything, but it's just going to be so exciting. So I'm ready for it, and yeah. Let's do it again tomorrow.
Looking forward to it. See you guys tomorrow.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching AVIXA TV live from ISE.
What's next in wireless? Meet the Shure Microflex Wireless Next 2. It's a snap to set up, and it's perfect for all your spaces. Like this, and yeah, even that. And with a variety of available mics, everyone can hear and be heard. So what's next in wireless? The all-new, all-in-one MXW Next 2.
Yes, I'm standing here in front of the Ames booth where we're displaying many partners, almost a dozen partners that are showing interoperability between all of their IPMX solutions. This has been a great show, and we've generated a lot of interest with that kind of demo.
IPMX is the new standard for video over IP, an extension of the SMPTE 2110 standards.
The demonstration was able to tie together all of these elements on a large LED wall, which was powered by an LED wall processor that was ingesting the content from all of the networks and all of the devices on the networks natively as an IP input instead of a baseband HDMI or SDI input. Essentially what's been happening in this demonstration is the sharing of content between different network profiles, the sharing of content between brands, the sharing of content between hardware and software nodes, and the ability to demonstrate all of this on an LED wall, capturing this entirely in IP.
In addition to our baseband standards of being able to handle DisplayPort, HDMI, and 12G SDI, we've now added the support for IPMX and SMPTE 2110.
For me, the real highlight of the show was really the level of traction and interest that we were able to generate this year. We've had a lot of manufacturers came to visit us, showed a great interest in this open standard solution that we're promoting, and we're very proud of the work that we've been able to achieve.